What's going on, my Los Illuminados cult followers? I've got some exciting news to tell you guys regarding the Resident Evil 4 remake, or the supposed Resident Evil 4 remake. Resident Evil 3 remake ties to that game, and also, if that doesn't get made, the Resident Evil 4 remake, it still ties to the original Resident Evil 4. So you're going to see where I'm going with this, and hopefully I can explain it the best I can. Originally, in an old video, I had said that these things that the Nemesis was infecting, zombies with, looked like Plagas. And I came to the theory that maybe Umbrella had stumbled across the Plagas in this timeline and then used them with the Nemesis, infected him with the Plagas. And so the enemies we get now are very Plaga-like, the zombies kind of transform into those things, and it makes a whole load of sense. And it's also a lot cooler than the NE type parasite that was infected into the Nemesis in the original timeline. I prefer the fact that they've stumbled across the Plagas and they have, then taken them and infected some of their bioweapons with these things. So, don't take my word for it, we'll read straight from Eurogamer. Okay, so Capcom changed Nemesis for the Resident Evil 3 remake to reference Resident Evil 4. Capcom has revealed it changed the way Nemesis works for the Resident Evil 3 remake in order for it to reference Resident Evil 4. There may be Resident Evil 3 and Resident Evil 4 spoilers ahead. In a PlayStation blog post to announce Nemesis' arrival in multiplayer, the Resident Evil 3 remake development team explained why the new Nemesis can infect zombies with parasites, something it could not do, in the 1999 PS1 original. It couldn't. I'll back that up. It turns out Capcom gave remake Nemesis this power in order for it to make sense in the context of the Ganado in Resident Evil 4. This was implemented as a means of differentiating Nemesis from Tyrant in Resident Evil 2, Capcom said. We wanted Nemesis to come across as an even more formidable opponent. Tongue-tied? As an even more formidable opponent. So we started considering alternate abilities aside from its heavy weapon artillery. That's like they were rapping or something. Anyway, we inevitably decided on this final ability due to the presence of Ganado in Resident Evil 4. Ganado are humanoid enemies that are created through being infected with the Plagas parasite. The original basis for NEA. When the Plagas activates, it spawns from the neck of its host in the form of a tentacle. NEA was created to imitate this parasite quality. We wanted NEA infected enemies to be visually similar to the Plagas infected Ganados, as a means for fans to piece together how Nemesis fits within the whole Resident Evil franchise. So that's interesting because in the original Nemesis, they had no idea about the Ganados or the Plagas or anything like that, okay? Because RE4 came out after Nemesis and they didn't really have those sort of ideas in their head. So the NE parasite, or the NEA parasite, I believe was just created by Umbrella. But in this, what they're saying is, Umbrella stumbled across the Plagas and then synthesized their own version of that. And I think that's very, very cool. Intriguing. So where does Nemesis now fit into Evil Corporation Umbrella's overall plans at the time of Resident Evil 3? According to Capcom, Umbrella's bioweapon research was split between Europe and America, because apparently Nemesis comes from France. The European branch handled Project Nemesis, while the American branch handled T-Virus research in tandem. The Nemesis project was to artificially create the Plagas parasite first introduced in Resident Evil 4, thus giving birth to NEA. The idea was to find an appropriate live host that could contain NE-A, which in turn would physically change and transform its host into a bioweapon. However, the reality was no host could contain the power of NE-A, nor was there any means of regulating it. As a result, the project was inevitably put on ice. That's quite the revelation, and certainly amounts to a retcon given in the original Resident Evil 4. The Plagas was completely unrelated to the series, and Umbrella thought it to be out of commission. This is also one of the reasons some feel Resident Evil 4 is the odd one out of the series, story-wise. I always did. I felt like that. In the original Resident Evil 4, the Plagas are arthropods, thought to have existed on Earth for hundreds of years, and then they're dug out, basically, during a mining excavation, and were worshipped in isolated parts of their native Spain in the late 18th and early 19th centuries. A nobleman called Salazar they've got a typo here, sealed the Plagas below his castle, but of course they escaped, leading to the events of the seminal GameCube horror adventure. But now we're told the Nemesis project was an attempt by Umbrella to artificially create the Plagas parasite, and the Plaga parasite was the original basis for NE-A, which explains why these guys are knocking about the Resident Evil 3 remake. Of course, Capcom's decision to tweak the series lore so Resident Evil 3 Remake links to Resident Evil 4 makes perfect sense when you consider the developer is working on a Resident Evil 4 remake. Back in April, VGC reported Capcom is remaking Resident Evil 4, with a release set for 2022. So all very interesting. I hope that kind of explains something about the Nemesis, or at least the new Nemesis, and the fact they've just tweaked the lore a little bit, just a little bit, and I like what they've done with it. I like where they're going with it, definitely. I'm very happy that when it comes to tweaking little things like that and changing some things, that's some stuff that I like that the remake has done. Now I can't remember. I read all the memos and the letters and all that stuff in this game, the journals. But I can't really remember reading about any sort of -A parasite being linked to the Plagas. I think maybe they didn't put that in because if the Resident Evil 4 remake comes out and people aren't familiar with what it does and how it plays out and the story and the fact that Plagas will be their enemies, it might ruin the surprise. So maybe it's hinted at in some of those memos. I've only played RE3 Remake once, so you've got to bear with me. But at the same time, I do like the connections, and I do like what they're doing and where they're going with it, and the fact that Umbrella could be connected to the Los Illuminados. I always thought RE4 was a bit of an odd duck, definitely, compared to the rest of the series. It is its own self-contained story, its own thing, and that's good. I love it for that. But at the same time, you know, there wasn't a lot of connections. There were a few here and there, but there wasn't some heavy connections there, unlike other entries in the series. So I like this. I definitely like this. This is a good thing. So yeah, that's wicked. So I thought I'd let you guys know a little bit of information regarding the new Nemesis, the Parasite, stuff like that. Who knows? If they continue with that, maybe we'll get like an original OG Nemesis in the new Resident Evil 4 remake. You know, one that is just created from the Plagas, do you know what I mean? And resembles a Nemesis or something like that. That would be pretty cool. I would like to see that. So, very interesting. Some great news on the new Resident Evil 4 remake that's forthcoming. And we're getting an inside look at how the Nemesis was created and the fact that he actually contains Plagas in him, or at least Umbrella's version of the Plagas, and that's why we get these Plaga type zombies in the game. So yeah, very happy with that. You know, the game is still a 7 out of 10 in my eyes. It's not bad, you know, but it ain't great either. In terms of remakes, it would be getting a 5. So I am placing the 7 on just the game itself, the game alone. Yeah, it was very disappointing, especially after I really liked the remake of 2. But do you know what I mean? It's still an enjoyable game. It's still playable. And to be honest, Doom Eternal and Resident Evil 3 Remake were the only games I was getting this year. You know, I'm not going to be picking up Final Fantasy 7 Remake, just because I'm not buying into that every episode, every 5 years bollocks that they're doing, and then them saying like, we don't know how many episodes it's going to take and all this stuff. I'm not going to get invested in a series I haven't really been invested in before, and just be disappointed. You know, I did that with Shenmue. That's why I was so happy we got Shenmue 3 and it turned out okay. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not going to start getting into a series like that when I just don't know where the end is to it. Do you know what I mean? And they don't even know themselves. I will not be buying The Last of Us Part 2. You can go watch my videos for the reasons on that. But yeah, I just won't be doing it. It's some LGBT propaganda trash, and I'm just not going to be giving my hard-earned money to buy it, to play it. So, you know, I'm not getting Last of Us Part 2. So they're the 2 games that have come out recently that I'm not feeling to buy. And the point I'm trying to make is I'm only getting 2 games this year. Doom Eternal was like a 10 out of 10 experience. It blew me away. Resident Evil 3 Remake, it wasn't the best, definitely, but it was still an enjoyable, you know, experience, even with the faults and stuff. So when people say, well, you spent your money on it, well, to be honest, I'm not, do you know what I mean? I'm not getting any new games this year, really, other than those 2, so it doesn't bother me too much. I could have waited for it to go down, but do you know what? When it comes to Resident Evil or Metal Gear Solid, I always buy them unless they get really trash review scores from everybody across the board, and then I'll leave it. I won't bother. Or I might pick it up at a later date, a little bit cheaper. But yeah, Cyberpunk's coming. That looks interesting. I do like my Cyberpunk, so we'll have to see how that, you know, progresses. I love a bit of Ghost in the Shell, Kira, you know, all the rest of them. We'll have to see how that goes. I guess this is the end of the video. What have I been doing mostly? I've actually been playing some emulators, some Dolphin emulator. Been playing on the Redream, I think it's called, the Dreamcast emulator. Having loads of fun with some old school retro games. I've got Twin Snakes on my Dolphin, which I'm trying to get through. And on the Dreamcast, I'm playing Unreal Tournament at the moment. I just finished Toy Commander, Blue Stinger, Sonic Adventure. And I've got to be honest, out of all the release games, I never gave Toy Commander a chance. I actually just sold it straight away for something else. But I think it's the best release game on the Dreamcast, personally. Sonic Adventure doesn't hold up now. It's full of bugs. It's a bit of a terrible game. Blue Stinger, yeah, it's a lot of fun in a campy, crappy type of way, but it's still kind of shitty compared to the survival horror games we got on the PlayStation previously. When it comes to the best release game, I think it would have to be Toy Commander. I enjoyed Toy Commander quite a lot this time around. So yeah, I've just been playing some retro games. I'm going to finish Unreal. Got Soul Calibur, Power Stone to finish. Playing through Code Veronica at the moment. Yeah, and then I'm going to finish Sonic Adventure 2, and then that's it. Like, I'll be moving on to the Dolphin emulator and playing some more of Twin Snakes. I'm looking forward to that. Got Killer 7 there, which I haven't played. Got loads of games I haven't actually played before, so yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I missed those first time around, so it's going to be good to get on those games. Other than that, let me know what you guys are doing at the moment. Are you playing any retro games, playing any new games? What's been your favourite game so far for this year? Has it been Final Fantasy VII? Have you been a fan of the RE3 remake? Been a fan of Doom Eternal? Are you looking forward to Cyberpunk? Are you going to get Last of Us Part 2? Let me know in the comment section down below. Keep it all nice, keep it all sweet, and show respect to everybody else commenting, as well as myself as a content creator. All that's left for me to say is, if you like the video, go ahead and smash the like button. Consider subscribing to the channel so you can watch more of my content. And until next time, I've been System Check 66, and once again, I'm signing out of it.